8 Tips to Master Temptation and Develop Self-Control. Today I'm going to be speaking to you about mastering temptation and developing self-control. People are watching their dreams fade away and their lives slip through their fingers like water because they have no self-control. They eat whatever they want, they sit in front of the TV or scroll for hours instead of working on their side hustle, and then they wonder why nothing ever gets done. If this sounds familiar to you, this video will help you break the bad habits that are keeping you behind. Here are 8 tips to master temptation and develop self-control. 1. Know your weaknesses. If you don't know what your weaknesses are, they will continue to control you. Most people don't view their weaknesses as weaknesses. They see them as a normal part of their lives. Their friends and family know them for it, and in many cases, it becomes part of their identity, and they're proud of it. For example, Big Mike is extremely overweight. If he is ever seen leaving his house, he's on his way to his favorite fast food joint. Everyone knows him for his love of food, but when they call him Big Mike, he sees it as a term of endearment, when the reality is that he is addicted to unhealthy foods and it is killing him. 2. Remove the temptations. Once you identify your weaknesses, the next step is to eliminate them. Oscar Wilde once said, "I can resist everything but temptation." In other words, if the temptation is there, he will yield to it. Therefore, the easiest way to resist temptation is to get rid of it. If you want to live a healthy lifestyle, throw away all your junk food and replace it with healthy food. If you want to stop scrolling, delete all your social media apps. If you always buy a donut every time you walk past the bakery, stop walking past the bakery. You know what you struggle with. Don't set yourself up for failure by having your weaknesses in your presence all the time. 3. Workout. Exercise improves the function of the frontal lobe, the part of the brain responsible for decision making. The stronger the frontal lobe, the easier it will be for you to decline the things that are holding you back in life. Experts suggest that adults should exercise for a minimum of 300 minutes per week. By the way, exercise doesn't mean going to the gym. You can go for a jog, a brisk walk, or do a workout video at home. Whatever's most convenient for you. Just make sure you are consistent with it. 4. Always be prepared. As mentioned, knowing your weaknesses will give you insight into the things that are holding you back in life. One way to combat this is to be prepared at all times. For example, if you have a problem with eating unhealthy foods, never go shopping on an empty stomach. By shopping when you are hungry, you're more likely to buy unhealthy snacks to satisfy your hunger. Instead, eat something filling and healthy before leaving the house, so that you're not tempted to buy anything. Another example is wasting time scrolling when you're meant to be doing something important. Maybe you have a report to write or an essay to complete, but instead after dinner you plop yourself onto the sofa and scroll. One way to avoid this is to put your phone away. Leave it in the car, lock it in a safe. Wherever you put it, make sure it is somewhere that you won't have easy access to it. 5. Watch your diet. You will be amazed at how a bad diet can affect your self-control. Unfortunately, the most popular foods make you stressed out and tired. For example, processed foods, refined sugars, artificial sweeteners, candy, refined cereals, and much more. Basically, all our much-loved comfort foods are ruining our lives. When you feel stressed and tired, the thought of doing anything remotely difficult isn't appealing at all. That's why it's so easy to have dinner and sit in front of the TV for the rest of the evening, because watching television doesn't require any effort on your part. Eating healthy foods that boost your energy will improve your self-control because you are choosing a healthy diet instead of an unhealthy one. It's a lot easier to eat unhealthy foods because they're so readily available. But to really eat a healthy diet, you've got to cook. Cooking is time-consuming, and most people are not going to do it if they have an easier alternative. Anytime you choose to do what is difficult, you improve your self-control. 6. Positive self-talk. No matter how many people you speak to every day, the voice you hear the most is your own. It speaks to you consistently, even when you are not aware of it. Unfortunately, our inner voice is typically negative. It constantly reminds us of our insecurities and tells us not to bother stepping out of our comfort zone because we will fail. Your inner voice is like a broken record. It's constantly playing in your head. The good news is that you can silence your negative inner voice with positive self-talk. Don't wait until your inner voice starts speaking. Make a habit of saying nice things to yourself. Make it a part of your daily routine and start first thing in the morning. You can say things like, I have an abundance of self-control, and every time I choose to exercise it, I take one step closer to my dreams. I am in total control of my habits. I do not let bad habits control me. I am aware of my impulses, and I choose to be intentional with everything I do. Every challenge I face is an opportunity to embrace self-control. I refuse to give in to my short-term desires and prioritize my long-term goals. With every positive choice that I make, my self-control grows stronger. When I face temptation, I choose to overcome it. I trust that I am strong enough to make wise decisions. I am in total control of my actions. The more you practice positive self-talk, the more you will start to believe what you are saying, and your actions will follow. 7. Consider the consequences. Newton's third law states that for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. In other words, whatever you do, there is always a consequence attached to it, whether good or bad. So when you decide to talk on the phone all night instead of work on your side hustle, the consequence is that it's going to take you longer to get it up and running. When you decide to eat a takeaway instead of salad and fish, the consequence is it will be harder for you to resist the temptation the next day, which means it will be easier for you to fall back into your old habits. Before taking the path of least resistance, consider the consequences of your actions. 8. Get some rest. Research suggests that less sleep makes self-control more difficult. This is because when you don't get enough sleep, you feel irritable, tired, and stressed. It takes a lot of willpower to control our desires and say no to what we want to do in the moment. When your body is lacking the energy required to think coherently, you are going to take the easier option. One study found that participants had a stressful day after not getting enough sleep, and it was harder to exercise self-control. Make getting enough rest a priority. Experts suggest adults should get a minimum of 7 hours sleep per night. Self-control is the foundation of success. You can be the most talented, gifted, and intelligent person in the world, but if you have no self-control, you will sabotage every opportunity that comes your way. By practicing the tips mentioned in this video, you will develop unshakable self-control, become a trailblazer in your field, and plow through your goals. At the moment, you are the only person holding yourself back. No one can roadblock your dreams apart from you. The harder you work, the more successful you will become. If you want to live the life you know you truly deserve, work on your self-control. If this video has helped you in any way, smash the like button and share it with friends and family. And if you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Subscribe and turn on your post notifications so you are alerted every time I post a new video. If you suffer from impulsive behaviors, don't worry. I've got you in the next video, where I will give you 8 tips on how to become more intentional and less impulsive.